Hello, friends. I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about leadership from the life of Jesus. Now, let me start by asking you this question. Why are so many churches in America stuck in a state of plateau or decline? Now, we know the stats tell us that 8 out of 10 churches in America are in decline. They're stuck. They're not growing. There's probably a lot of reasons for that, probably some good research that could give us some indications, but let me give you a very simple answer to why so many churches are stuck in America. They don't know who their neighbor is, and they're not willing to get dirty. Jesus deals with this issue in Luke chapter 10 with the parable of the Good Samaritan. So this person approaches Jesus and asks, "Who is my neighbor?" It's a great question. And Jesus responds with this parable of the Good Samaritan. And so we know that there's a man beaten and left for dead on the Jericho road. And here comes a priest who goes around this need. And here comes a Levite who steps over this person and goes his own way. And then finally, the Samaritan, the least likely person that you would expect to assist this Jewish man that had been beaten up, stops and helps. He sees a need and he meets it. And that's the essence of leadership, that we see a desperate need and we meet it. Now, here's what struck me when I was standing on the Jericho road once when I visited Israel, and I processed this parable in my mind, because I think I'd always had the road kind of like as an American road. You know, it's wide and the person in need is on the other side of the street, and I can just maybe not turn my head and look over. But the reality of the Jericho road, and those that were hearing this parable, what they would have known is that road is very narrow. So you would have had to actually step over this person who had been beaten and left for dead and go about your business. You couldn't just not turn your head. You'd actually have to ignore him and step over. And so that really struck me. And maybe why so many churches are stuck is they're stepping over the needs that are right in front of them. They've lost the sense of who their neighbor is. Samaritan saw a desperate need and took action. He was willing to get his hands dirty. And that's the essence of leadership and the antidote to decline. The need isn't hard to see. Oftentimes in our churches and organizations, the need is right in front of us. Let's see that desperate need and be willing to meet it. And here's the leadership lesson that I want you to get. Good leaders see opportunities where other people see problems. Good leaders see opportunities where others see problems. So in your church, if you feel stuck, you're in a rut, what maybe are the problems that everybody else sees that really could be opportunities if you just look at it in a different way? Ask the question, who's my neighbor? And be willing to get your hands dirty. All right, that's enough for today. But for all you pastors and leaders out there, let me invite you to a trip that the Center for Holy Land Studies is doing called As One with Authority. It's a trip to Israel to study the land that's built for pastors and leaders. And we're going to be looking at biblical leadership and how we can apply that to our churches and organizations today. It'll be April 10th through the 20th, 2018. I'll be leading this trip with my good friend, Pastor Scott Wilson from the Oaks Fellowship in Dallas, Texas, and we would love to have you there. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next time.